Hey folks, what's going on? It's Wednesday the 22nd of March, and cheers to everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Here to talk a little bit about music and whatever else crosses my mind before I say, okay, that's enough. I want to follow up and say that, if I was too honest in the last video, I'm not apologizing because because I didn't do anything to hurt anyone. And if anything, what I said about my reaction to Electric Caesar will lead people who like this sort of thing to it, okay? No harm meant, no harm meant. I have to do that because I know that it's so easy to get offended by what others say. I know that people get offended by me, but I don't intend to offend, but they get offended anyway. So I have to explain. I'm just being honest, okay? With that said, I've gotten some more music. Thank you, people. I do appreciate you sending me music. I do prefer vinyl. People are sending me CDs. So I'm going to always be honest, okay? So I just got one by a musician who, again, everything is honest, and this is extraordinary. Jamie OCallaghan, Groves. This is an orchestral tone poem. I'm not exactly sure how Mr. OCallaghan found out about me, but we're connected on Facebook, and he said he wanted to send me some of his music. And this is what I like, okay? This is what I like. This is an orchestral tone poem. This is somewhere between ambient and psychedelic, okay? Jamie is a multi-instrumentalist, composer, teacher. I looked him up. I try to, give you a little bit of background. Anyway, the cat can play, and he can also write. And he explains here that what he wanted to do was to set up, a sound field that is suggestive of the animal world, plants, bugs, the dawn, the sunlight coming through the trees in the morning. You really have in your own way, Jamie, captured it here. With the encouragement of your words, those images come to mind when I hear this. I played this all the way. I had to play this all the way through before I could really get on here. I started to play it a couple times, then I got busy. I've been very busy. But this is 3 long pieces, so last night I got all the way through it. And this is wonderful. I don't want to call it ambient because it's not a passive listen in the best sense. This is the best way to try to listen to this is to decide that you're going to pay attention to it and run it like a movie, but a movie of the mind. A lot of cool things going on here with technique. And, I love the use of the glissando. I think that's the way that you barely touch the string on a violin and a cello, and you get that glassy, over ringing tone. Field recordings involved here. This is the sort of thing that, because of my interest, where my music lies, my interests lie musically, this really interests me, and I can give it a real strong thumbs up. So Jamie OCallaghan, and folks, anything I've said trying to describe this music, if it trips your trigger, seek this out. It's not on vinyl, apparently. It is the sort of recording that benefits from the digital domain because it's so nuanced, and there's a lot going on, and so being able to hear it fully, clearly is nice. But as I always say, the art form of the record is the thing that we like. And when I like good music, I like having it in the art form of the album. So a big thumbs up to Jamie OCallaghan, okay? A little bit of more on when I show records. I don't show everything I have when I decide to talk about something. I'm just grabbing some right here. So like last week, I have more. Well, I'll just keep pulling until I'm done with finding Strawbs. Okay, so I got a couple of nice comments and surprises. People were surprised that I showed the Strawbs. Well, again, yeah, you just watch me on TV, you don't know my history. But as I've said in older videos, music has been an avenue of education, escape, joy, and a window to the world for me. Living in Omaha, Nebraska, low income, opportunities were limited to travel and to experience the world. So I learned early on that a way to discover the world and to learn about stuff or just experience stuff is through the music. So what I'm getting at is that I've been a big Strawbs fan for a long time. And I've heard almost all their records. I don't have them because, like I told you, I try to find things on a budget. But let me show more of what I have by the Strawbs. I don't have a copy of From the Witchwood on vinyl anymore. I'm not sure why I don't anymore. But I have Grave New World. Someone was also asking, what do I recommend? I recommend them all. When you get up to later, the early stuff, I think that's a good rule of thumb, actually, folks. If you want to find out about a band, start with the early stuff. Some bands do mature into their vision later on, but if you want to know about almost any band, go to their beginning and see what's going on. Magma is a very good example. Someone asked me about Magma. Start from the beginning with Magma. Grave New World. Here's a Strawbs album that I love, personally, Hero and Heroine. There's a song in here called Sad Young Man. It's the music. I'm not sure what the message of the song is, but the music really touches me, always does. This was my introduction to Strawbs in high school. Bursting at the Seams, and it's still one of my favorite albums. It's very commercial, it's very pop. I mean, there's prog elements, but this is pop music, but it's great songs, okay? When I talk about stuff, some people might grumble and complain that I'm inconsistent. Well, I'm human, okay? I like some pop I don't like. Some rock I like, a lot of rock I don't. A lot of blues I don't want to listen to. I respect it and understand it, but I don't want to hear it. Strawbs, Burning for You. This is one where I would, don't start here in my opinion, okay? Here's another one where it's like, okay, they've got a contract, they're still going. There's like one good song on here to my ears. But here's another good one. No Madness, Strawbs, No Madness, okay? I just grabbed them. And the last one do I have more? I might actually have some more here in the pile. Strawbs live at the Queen Elizabeth Hall. Just a collection of antiques and curios. Yeah, this music for me wasn't exotic, but it was different. It took me someplace other than where I was. Living in the ghetto. Let me be real plain about it, okay? A lot of things about living in the double standard world of the United States with dark skin is not pleasant. And even though much of that abuse comes from people with the color of the music I like, that's not the issue. The issue is I build the world that I live in my mind. We all do, and this music has helped. Here's one that I think is really good. Deadlines. Real proggy. I think this one is real good. Personally, I don't know what they're singing about. I don't. It's the music. It's the music. Here's the best of Strawbs. And this is a good one. It gives you a nice overview. So this, if you find this cheap, this would be a good way to start. Classic Strawbs. I think this is comes out of Canada. A Canadian release, okay? So yeah, I like the Strawbs, What else got pulled? Morton Subotnick, Silver Apple to the Moon. He died last year. Pioneer of the synthesizer. Pioneer. Sidewinder by Morton Subotnick. Here's one of the few punk rock albums that I still have. I don't play it, but I just keep it kind of as a memento. Stupids. They were kids when they came to Omaha in the 80s. Literally, these guys were teenagers from England, touring the world with their punk rock music. You can see here they were children, literally. I was big into punk rock back then. I felt like an outsider to everything. And so even on the punk rock scene, I was an outsider, but that was where I hung out. And I'd go to shows. And these guys were great. And they signed the record for me. Stump. Don't listen to this much, but it was, again, a unique take on what could very well be pop music. I would say that they would probably used Captain Beefheart as a template for what they were doing. Here's one, really crap cover. Daryl Sturmer stepping out. Because I was pulling the Strawbs, I pulled a few, and this is what else came. Guitar player who has played with Genesis live forever. Very good guitar player. And this is one of those albums where the cover is cheese. And so it's like, there is actually some good music on here, but you're not going to know it by this terrible cover. I've always thought to myself, the idea that this is the sort of cover that will appeal to someone is not to be encouraged. Here is something that, again, I found out about through Hearts of Space radio program. Struns and Farah, Mysterio. Acoustic guitar players, somewhere between folk, classical, and Spanish. I love guitar music. This is beautiful stuff. And then the other things that got pulled was String Driven Thing. That's not the one I like by them, though. This is the one I like by them. The Machine That Cried. And I love that cover, too. And speaking of good covers, here's their first album. What an odd, cool cover. What a cool picture that suggests all kinds of things. Wonderful. Another one that got pulled. I'll just go ahead and show you what's laying here, because String Cheese. Here's one that I found. I still got to get into this and find out what it's about. Yeah, see, I've got records that I still need to investigate. Stray Dog, I have their albums. A hard rock band, but when they played, this one has an instrumental on it that I love. Whirlwinds. It's prog. It's progressive rock. This, on the other hand, is more straight ahead, Led Zeppelin influenced hard rock. They're good though, so I don't play it much, but I hang on to it. So, there's a whole bunch of records for you. I got another package from Matt Pokolsky of Music for Practically Everyone. I really like the label, and I'm going to absorb what he sent me more before I talk about the stuff. So I'm going to leave off here. When I hat that you put on and only conserve. When I started to, I was listening to the radio and turned it off before the camera came on. But the one comment I want to make now is, the world is so insane how all the talk on the radio is completely insane now, where there's one side trying to make excuses and somehow soft pedal the idiocy of our current president, and then there's all the other people who are just trying to distract us with bullshit because no one has a clue what to do, how to fix anything. What a wonderful world we live in.